Hey, how's it going, guys? We are back in UK. The holidays are wonderful, but there is no place like home, right? So we are back in UK, we're back in the game, super excited. Sunday is here, so we're planning our next week. We're reviewing this week, and big things are coming. The next month is also just around the corner, so super exciting time. All right, but today I'm going to talk about why goals don't work. So if you've ever set goals and it didn't work for you, and if you didn't get the result you wanted to get, etc., in the next couple of minutes I'm going to try and share with you why it didn't work for you and maybe where was your mistake. Okay, if you're watching a replay of this, please do me a massive favor and stick hashtag replay into the comments so that I know who watched the live and who watched the replay. Awesome. Welcome along. Okay, so why would the goals not work? So let me give you an example, right? Have you ever watched a pirate movie? And I'm sure a lot of you have seen a movie about pirates, right? And what are the pirates always after? Well, most of the time, the pirates are after treasure, right? Pirates are always after treasure, right? But is the whole movie about the treasure? What you will find most often that only the last 5 minutes of the movie is showing the treasure. The whole of the movie is about the treasure map. Right? So they have to first of all find the treasure map, because the treasure map will show how to find the treasure. And the most of the movie is them following the treasure map, going through all sorts of things before they get to the treasure, right? So you might be thinking now, what the heck does pirates, treasures, and treasure maps got to do with my goals? Well, it has a lot to do with your goals. Why? Because most people, they will set a goal and they will write a goal about the treasure. So they will only write, I want a brand new Ferrari, or I want the house, right? Or I want this income in my bank account, etc., right? But all of that is just writing about the treasure. And if you write, I want the treasure, but you don't have the treasure map of how to get there, then guess what? Ain't gonna happen. You're not gonna get there, right? Because it's just somewhere out there. The dream is out there, but you can't get to that goal because you haven't got the map. You haven't got the treasure map, right? So that's why your goal has to include the treasure and the map. What you want and how to get there, right? That's when the goal will work. That's when you're gonna execute it, and that's where you're gonna get the results. So how can you do that? Well, you can do that by making your goals smart. Now, I'm not saying write them more intelligently, etc. There's a system to write your goals called SMART. So each letter stands for something, right? So the first letter is S, and S stands for specific, right? So your goal has to be specific. When you're writing something out, when you're on a mission, when you're trying to achieve something, you have to be very precise. I've seen people make a huge mistake where I ask them, I say, well, what's your goal? And they go, well, my goal is to make more money. Well, that is not very specific, because I could take £1 and go, here you go, you achieved your goal. You've got more money now. You've got £1 more. Oh, no, I want a lot more. So how much more, right? Or people will go, well, I want a house. Well, what sort of house? I want a car. What sort of car, right? So the way you have to write your goal, it has to be like an instruction for the universe, for your subconscious mind, for God, whatever you believe, but it has to be like an instruction. So I always say, imagine if you were living here in UK or wherever you live right now, and you wanted to build a house in another country. You wouldn't just pay the money for the builders and say, well, build the house of my dreams, and they will have to figure out how to build a house of your dreams. That would be a bit crazy, wouldn't it? Instead, probably what you would do, you would give the money to the builders and you would send them the plan, right? You would send them everything written out, right? How the house has to look, how many bedrooms, how many garage spaces, what's the yard should look like, what's the color of the house, what tiles should they use in the bathroom, what carpets, what wall paint, etc., etc., etc. You would write in a very much detail how you want this house to look, because you're not there, right? So they're going to be building your house, but you want to make sure when you get there that you have your dream house built, right? So you'd be very detailed, right? If you just sent, an instruction to builders saying, build a house, they think you're insane, right? Because what house? How does this house look like, etc., right? But so many people, when they write their goals, they will just write, I want to have a house, or I want to have a car. And that's not very specific. It's not an instruction to the universe, to your subconscious, etc. It's just a pipe dream. It's just a wish, right? So first of all, your goal has to be specific, right? The second one is M, right? Smart. So the second letter is M, and M stands for measurable. So again, if we get back to the example with income, when somebody says, I want to make more money, that is not very precise. That is not measurable. I cannot measure when you're going to have more, right? Like £1 more, right? So how much more, right? And everything else. There's so many people that sometimes ask them, what's your goal? And they will go, well, my goal is to become more confident. Well, how will you measure that you became more confident? So it has to be measurable. You have to have a way of telling that, okay, I'm 50% there. Okay, I'm 75% there. Okay, I'm 100% there. I have achieved my goal. So there's nothing wrong with setting a goal to be more confident, but then it has to be measured somehow, right? So let's say you can say my goal is to become more confident, and I will know that I achieved that when I'm speaking in front of 100 people at my company's conference, or in front of 500 people, or 1,000 people, or whatever it is, right? So now that's measurable, because once you're standing in front of that audience, we know that you've achieved it, right? And you might have smaller stepping stones along the way, but this way at least you can measure whether you're getting somewhere with your goal or not, right? Okay, the third letter in the SMART is A, and that's probably the most important bit about today's live, because like I mentioned earlier on about the treasure and the treasure map, the A stands for action oriented. So what actions you will have to take in order to reach your goal, right? So if you set your goal that, okay, I want to have a team of 5,000 people, then the A will be action orientation. So what exactly you're going to do to build that team to that level, or that income to that level, or to get that house of your dreams, or to get that car of your dreams, or to get that holiday of your dreams, or whatever. What actions will you take? Very few people will write a goal and include the action plan in it. So the action plan is your treasure map to your treasure, your goal, right? So you want to make sure that you as part of your goal, you have an action plan on how to get to that goal. Because if you haven't got that, I can tell you there's a very big chance that you're not going to get there, right? Because you'll just go, well, that's a goal, but how do I get there, right? So you want to write out, again, as detailed as possible, what exactly you're going to need to do, what actions will you need to take in order to get to that goal, right? Does that make sense? If it's making sense, stick a fire emoji into the comments. Okay. Next letter is R, and R stands for realistic. Now, with this one, you have to be careful, because what I mean by realistic might not be what you think is realistic. What I mean by that is most people fail not because they set a too high goal and don't reach it. Most people fail because they set a goal too small and they hit it and they reach it, right? So what you want to do, you want to make sure that your goal stretches you, that your goal is challenging, that your goal makes you grow. However, it's realistic, in terms of achievability, right? So how would you say what's realistic and what's not? Well, imagine that you just got started in your business, right? You're a brand new person, you started in network marketing, and you set yourself a goal to make £100,000 or $100,000 within your first 3 months. Well, that's a tall order. I'm not saying it's impossible, everything is possible, right? But it's highly unlikely to happen, right? Instead, if you set yourself a goal to make 10,000, that would be a lot more realistic. It would still stretch you, it'd still be tough, it'd still be hard, it'd still be challenging to get there, but it's more realistic to get there, if you understand what I'm saying. You know, if you just started playing basketball and you set yourself a goal to be in NBA by the end of the year, again, not likely to happen because it's not very realistic. But if you set yourself a goal to become part of maybe your local team, you know, or to become part of your, you know, I don't know, workplace team, you know, in basketball, that's a lot more likely to happen. It's still going to stretch you, it's still going to be challenged to get there, but at least it's realistic. So always think, is my goal realistic? You know, is what I set my goal actually realistically can happen, right? Okay, so that's R. And then the last letter is T, right? So in SMART, the last letter is T, and T stands for time bound, right? So your goal has to have a deadline. You cannot set a goal and say, well, I want to earn 10,000 a month and this is what I'm going to do, and that's it, right? You want to make sure that you set a deadline. So I want to have this dream house by January 2020. I want to have this dream car by whatever, right? I want to earn this type of income every single month by this time, right? And even better than saying, I want to have that or this or that, because that's how a lot of people write their goals, is to write in present tense as if it's already happened, right? So the best thing to write when you're writing your goal is to write, I'm so grateful and happy that I live in my dream home by December 2019, right? I'm so happy and grateful that I earn £10,000 a month by January 2020 or whatever, right? So you said you say the goal in present tense as if it's already happened, right? But you give it a deadline, right? And you include the action plan, right? How you're going to achieve that. What actions will you take to get to that, right? This is how you can achieve goals. So remember, your goals have to be SMART, right? Specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound. That's how you're going to have the treasure and the treasure map. If you only set the goal by what I want to get, then that's just the treasure. You're missing the map to get there, right? So I hope you got value from this training. I hope this will influence how you set your goals. And by the way, I would recommend you set goals every single week, right? So every single Sunday or Monday, set a goal for a week. You know, it's great to have those big long-term goals, you know, stuff, you know, that you want to get in 1 year, in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, etc. It's awesome. But I would highly recommend you also set short-term goals. You know, things that, you know, what do I want to achieve today? What do I want to achieve this week? Because those smaller goals will give you the satisfaction of ticking them off, of getting the sense of achievement. Because if you only have one goal and that goal is a 10-year plan, then it's easy to get demotivated. It's easy to get upset. It's easy to lose your passion because, you know, it seems like you're not making any progress. It seems like you're not getting anywhere because that goal is so huge. But if you have smaller goals along the way, like today, my goal is to get 20 people to say no to me, right? That's a lot easier to achieve than the huge 5-year goal, right? So by achieving those small goals, by ticking them off your sheet, going, done that, done that, done that, that will build your confidence and it will motivate you to go even further and achieve even more, right? So have the long-term goals, but also have the smaller goals for every single day, every single week, and that will help you to again progress faster, gain more confidence, feel better, etc. Great, guys. If you're also in network marketing and you'd like to get my free training on 26 different ways how to find more customers and sell more products, then head over to titaniumsuccess.co.uk/sales. That's titaniumsuccess.co.uk/sales, and you'll be able to download your free audio download with that training from there. Okay, guys, thanks very much for watching. If you got some value from this training, feel free to share it with other people, via message on a group, or on your timeline, with people who you think would also get some value from this training. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great rest of your Sunday and have a smashing week next week. Bye for now.